Do you guys want to know how I broke up with my first ever boyfriend? It is a very middle school story, but it is also funny. Okay. I'm 12 years old, all right? I'm dating, my best friend is my neighbor, and she starts dating this guy, all right? And she was my best friend. And then there is his best friend. And his best friend, say his name is Josh. Josh, okay? Best friend Josh. And she's like, you know what? You and Josh should date so that we're best friends dating best friends. And I'm like, that is a great idea because we're in middle school. So obviously that is a good enough reason to date someone. So she hits him up and she's like, hey, you should ask Adrian out. She likes you. And he's like, okay. So then he sends me like a shitty like Facebook DM that's like, hey, we should date. And I'm like, okay. And then we set our relationship status to dating because that's how you did it when I was in middle school. So it's official. We're dating. All right. So this relationship was as magical as it gets. We barely talked. Held hands. His hands would get like really sweaty and he'd be like, I'm sorry. And he would like wipe his hand. And we'd hold hands. And then one time, my friend's boyfriend pressured us into kissing because he said that our relationship wasn't real unless we kissed. And so we kissed outside the mailbox near my house. Romantic. Pure romance. I think that was the only time we kissed. We might have kissed once, one other time, I think. Maybe, unless I imagine that. Unless I imagine that. I remember I played Yoville on Facebook and I sent him kisses sometimes. So, you know, pretty serious stuff. And my friend, my best friend, was actually a bully. She would say that he said all these like weird things about me when I was not in the room. And she would also like egg people on. She would do this like mean girl shit where she would get people to talk shit about me through Facebook messages and then copy and paste what they said about me to me and send it, and then I would cry. And she would just be like, ha ha ha. Like, I don't know what the fuck. She like literally got so many kicks out of like being an asshole. Like, she did shit like that to other people all the time. Spread lies, rumors. Like, it was just her thing. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with her. But also, my gay ass had a crush on her. So it just made it worse because I'd be like, I love you. But also, I don't understand why I love you like this. But here I am dating this guy, right? And one time at a middle school dance, set the scene. It's 2010. Jay-Z is playing. Kanye is playing. That What You Say song where Kanye cheating. Hot and Cold by Katy Perry. All that shit was what was playing at the dance. I show up at the dance wearing a shirt with a big lightning bolt on it and this pink like tutu and some like striped stockings and I think some hand knits. Like, I was like really wearing my outfit. And but mom, it was the Valentine's Day dance, so she let me wear makeup for the first time, like actual makeup, like besides just mascara. So my mom did my eyeliner for me and explained to me how to do eyeliner and like what eyeliner does and everything, and I loved it. I was so ready, and I had a little boyfriend. We're gonna meet at the dance. We're gonna bring money for pizza and soda. Gonna be a great time. So I get there, we dance together, whatever, but mostly I'm with my best friend. Say her name is Sarah. I'm mostly with Sarah the whole time. I was mostly with her most of the time. So I leave to go to the bathroom. I come back, and Sarah's like, oh my god, your boyfriend, he just told me that he would rather that he was at the dance with me. And now, she and her boyfriend that were dating actually broke up, like, a while before this. So she was now single and ready to mingle, but I was still dating the guy that I was only dating because we'd be best friends dating best friends. But she actually knew Josh better than I knew Josh, and I only met him through her, right? Whatever. So I was like, oh my god, he said that? And so I start like crying. I was that bitch at a middle school dance that was crying in the bathroom. I like ran to the bathroom, I got my makeup everywhere all over my face. Like, I looked like a mess. Like, I don't even know that, like, my makeup has never ran like it did that night. Like, I don't know what the fuck kind of makeup I was wearing, but it ran. And so everyone is coming up to me and being like, what happened? And I told them, oh, Josh is such a jerk. He said this. And so they're like, oh, he is awful. I can't believe he would say that. And so people are going up to him and calling him an asshole at this point because I'm crying in the bathroom. So I come out of the bathroom. My eyes are puffy. And I'm like, I don't think this is gonna work anymore. I can't believe you said that. And he's like, I don't understand. I don't know what I said. And he was so clueless. He was like, I don't understand what I did. And I was like, how the fuck do you not know, right? In my adult life, I'm realizing, I think Sarah made that up. I'm pretty sure she fucking lied to me like she liked to do about a lot of things. Just to see me go into emotional turmoil. So, whatever. He maintains that he doesn't know what the fuck he did. So I go home, I cry about it, I listen to Tegan and Sarah, I listen to Metric. On my purple iPod Nano, my hand nets, and I go, oh my god. I had a little desk with a bunch of craft supplies on it. I would sit there, I was like looking at my diary, like, do I write my diary, my Disney Princess diary? Fuck. Yeah, the album Fantasies just came out, so I was listening to that fucking song with the Cupid, living in my life. And then, whatever, like 2 weeks go by, and I'm like, he doesn't know what he did wrong. And so apparently he doesn't know what he did wrong or whatever, and I'm hearing. Sarah tells me that he, like, regrets stuff or whatever the fuck. So I'm like, I changed my profile picture to just a picture of a Google image of, like, I'm sorry, and a rose. Because I'm cringy, I'm in middle school, and that's how I decided to apologize to him. By changing my fucking profile picture. Oh, the cringe, the cringe, the cringe! So, I DM him, and I'm like, hey, you want to get back together? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, love you. And we would say love you. We would say love you. So we're like, love you. Right? All right. That's it, though. That's it. Because there's a big problem in this relationship that I haven't really mentioned, is that the reason why Sarah was so easily able to lie to me about what he was saying is because he was too shy to, like, talk to me much when we were hanging out. Like, it was almost like he was mute. Like, a lot of the times he would communicate by telling her stuff, and then I would hear about it. I was, like, shocked when he spoke, usually. And I would talk a lot. I would sit there and tell him all kinds of things about myself, things that I liked, smells, my favorite fucking songs. He would, you know, sometimes gonna be like, that's weird, or whatever, I don't like that. Or the Beatles aren't that good, you know, whatever. So, this goes on for a while, and we, like, barely hang out. Like, barely. I start making friends with people that aren't Sarah, because I start cluing in that Sarah's kind of sucks. And I start making friends with these other girls that are much nicer to me. Much nicer to me. It seemed like they actually like me. So, of course, because Sarah was the one that was kind of organizing Josh's and I's hangouts, we weren't seeing much of each other, right? So then, I meet this other kid that I used to have a crush on in grade 6, and suddenly he starts paying all this attention to me. And he, you know, he's giving me compliments and stuff, and he's like, your boyfriend, Josh, is such a jerk. He's a douchebag. You should break up with him. And I was like, yeah, I should. So, how do I execute this plan to break up with him? Well, of course, I don't have the dance to cry about or anything. So, of course, I do what anyone would do, which is, at recess, I saw him in his group with his friends. Help myself up with my friends. I'm gonna break up with him. Let's do this, all right? So I walk up to him in his group of friends at recess on the fucking playground, and I'm like, hey, Josh, I need to talk to you. And his friends, of course, are like, ooh, ooh, she needs to talk to you. So, I pull him just off to the side of the, like, the soccer field or whatever, and I'm like, I think we should break up. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, okay. So, he walks away. My friends walk up to me and join me, and he joins his friends. And then I'm talking to my friends, and I look over, and he's just... on the other side of the field, just flipping me off, and his friends are joining him, like, behind him, like... So, I do what any classy woman would do.
Are the one that got away.
I do what any classy woman would do, and I'm like... And, we flip each other off. Yeah. We flip each other off. But you know what's weird? Is... We became better friends after we broke up than we even were before. But it was like we fucking hated each other. I don't know, so you know what he started doing? So he had like 2 close friends. He used to have to go through Sarah to make our plans, but I stopped hanging out with Sarah as much because I realized she was being an asshole. So and also she was an asshole. Like, I cried about our friendship for like a few hours, and then my mom was like, you gotta tell me what happened. So I told my mom about this like copy and paste conversation that Sarah sent me, and my mom was like, she did that on purpose. She's trying to hurt your feelings. Why? Like, she probably asked them to talk stuff about you and then got them to send it to you. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like something she would do. So then I, you know, whatever. So, Josh and I, what happens now is, because I stopped hanging out with Sarah, he starts actually coming to my house to hang out with me. So this was also really funny, how this was executed. So again, we're 12 here. So he does this like a proper 12-year-old. So he and his friends, it's spring now, they would bike to my house, right? Bike to my house, and they would wear like sunglasses, like those wide brim caps that were popular in the style, like the DC shoes. They had the whole thing. And they would come over to my house on their bikes, and there was like a little driveway, right? They'd ride up the driveway, and then Josh would get off his bike, ring the doorbell, sprint back to his bike, and then pose. I'm not fucking kidding. That is not a lie. That is not a lie. That is a fact. They would pose. Like, do some shit, like, with their sunglasses. And so I would answer the door, and this happened regularly. But the weird thing is they wouldn't say anything to me. So I would stand there, and I would just try to see if they would say anything to me first. Usually I would go, hey, and they'd go, sup. I'm not joking. Sup. So, that would result in like a weird, like, silent staring contest, because I'd be like, are they here to hang out with me? Why are they here? So then I go, do you want to hang out? And they go, sure. I'm not fucking kidding. That is how the interaction went. So then I'd be like, all right. So I get my bike and we go for a bike ride. And it was just like weird, I guess. But this escalated. This escalated because one time when I'm hanging out with them, I offhandedly mentioned that my mom leaves the door unlocked most of the time, right? So that obviously turns into them just letting themselves in my house, because no one had ever done that before. When I told them that my mom was the door unlocked, but like, that's what they did. So then I remember one time I was with my friend, and we were on like not MySpace, MSN Messenger. We're in MSN Messenger, and we're just like fucking clicking around, whatever, and they just walk into my room. Him and his other friend, God, a name for that guy. Josh and Craig. You name him Craig. Craig was the other culprit in this. So Craig is his new best friend. Because the other best friend that my old best friend was best friends with, they stopped hanging out too. So then he was friends with Craig. So there was this whole fucking thing. So they roll up and they just walk in my room. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, hi. And Craig was way more chatty than Josh, because Josh is like fucking mute or something. I don't know. He just couldn't talk much. So then I just remember Craig like getting on my bed, which was very broken. I was sleeping on the floor at the time because my bed had recently broke. And he's like, oh my god, your bed is so comfortable. And I was like, that's broken. I sleep on the floor. And it was like slanted, like the metal bar had like broken completely, because I had friends over and they broke it because they were like jumping or something. It's not worth explaining. So I have to tell you, listen, you know what? You're just gonna hear about a bunch of middle school drama because it's funny to me. So okay, so I started talking to Craig on Facebook, and I was like an insomniac. Like, I never fucking slept. So Craig, I guess, also just didn't sleep very well either. So then we would end up staying up late and talking, and it was fine. But then Craig pulls the fucking, I wish I had a girlfriend, but no girls like me. And I'm like, oh, sure, girls like you, it's fine. He was like, no, what's the point of even living? if no girls like me? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it's fine. Like, girls will like you. And he was like, yeah. Do you like me? Pull the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, trap card. Like, right there. Oh, yeah, girls like me. Do you like me? And I'm like, no. And he's like, see, no girls like me. This is horrible. So, he basically fucking manipulated me into agreeing to date him. Which was not poggers. Obviously. So you know what I did? You know what I did? You know what 12-year-old me did? So this guy, he pulls that card, right? He pulls his Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap card. I'm like, alright. So for one day, I talked to him, and I'm like, this is uncomfortable. I hate this. I fucking hate this. So, he tells me stuff about himself, which is nice, you know, whatever. But I fucking hate it, because I do not feel happy that he manipulated me into this relationship, right? So I do what any responsible person does. And I block him. I block him. Don't speak to him again. Except, him and Josh, now bonded by the fact that I dumped both of them. One of them just by blocking them. So, one time, they roll up to my house, and I'm in the bathroom, my mom is not home, and I'm on the toilet. But the toilet is right beside the back door of my old house. So I'm like, on the toilet, you know. And then I hear the back door. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And then I hear it again. And I'm like, someone in my house? I, get out of the bathroom. And I look around. And I look in the pantry, and the pantry's open. And there's a box of crackers missing. And I look outside. And I see Josh and Craig just scooping up little crackers into their mouth, eating them. They stole my fucking crackers. Being the badass that I was, as I ran outside, and I called, if you ever do that again, I'm calling the police! Which stopped them. They never did that again. That was scary enough for them. That was scary enough for them. Got him. Fucking got him. But that didn't stop them from other things. Did not stop them. Josh and Craig were an unstoppable duo. So, Craig actually lived like a block behind me. So frequently when I was going places, I would go past his house, which I'd never been inside, but I knew which one it was because he told me he lived there. So one day, me and my best friend, we're having a little bike ride. We're just gonna do a nice little old bike ride. You know, as we did. I got around everywhere by bike when I was a kid. So, we're doing a little bike ride. And we ride past Craig's house. And I'm like, that's Craig's house. And she was like, ah, yeah. And then, you will not fucking believe what this guy, okay. So, you want to know what happened. You will never guess what happened. So, as I'm biking past, Josh comes sprinting out in his pajamas, chases me on foot while I'm on my bike. And he starts, as he's eating this muffin, he's eating a muffin. And he's in like, I don't think this is right, but in my head, as I remember it, he was in like striped, like pajama set. I don't think he was, but in my memory he is. Because it's weird. But yeah, he's in his fucking pajamas. And he's running after me. And he's eating a muffin. And he starts fucking taking muffin bits and throwing them at me. And I was like, why are you wasting your muffin? And he was like, this is a good muffin. I'm not joking, that was his response. So I'm like, what the fuck? Of course, my bike is faster than his feet. So we bike away. You know what they do? A little while later, wouldn't guess it, but you probably did. Craig and Josh get on bikes. And they chased us for a while until one of us wiped out on a patch of gravel and they actually stopped and were like, oh, are you okay? Was it me? Was it my friend? I can't remember which one of us wiped out. It might have been me. But they're like, oh, are you okay? And then I was like, oh, they're not gonna hurt us. But then there was another situation. And this is the last situation that ever occurred between Josh, Craig, and I, okay? One time, I'm with my best friend at the time, who is not Sarah anymore, and her friend who she's close with. And we're walking through the park. And it's fine. And Josh and Craig are with a group of people, a much bigger group of people than usual, probably about 8 kids. And They see us. And they pick up rocks. Not muffin bits. Nothing cute. And they start fucking throwing rocks at us. And calling us names. They called us like whores. Slurs for gay girls. I don't feel comfortable saying it because I know that I'm gay, like actually, but I just don't feel comfortable. So none of us get hurt by a rock, I don't think. But my friend, it would like really affected my best friend. But so I see they're throwing rocks at us and shit, and I'm like, I know exactly what to fucking do. I know what to do. I had a cell phone, and I said, I will call the police on my cellular device. I said that. I said cellular device. I'm not joking. I said cellular device. And they stopped. And they fucking stopped. It worked. It worked. The second time worked. Still worked. Did not call the police. They stopped. And we fucking left. That was it. But it hurt my friend's feelings a lot because one of her old friends was in the group of 8 people that were throwing rocks at us. So I comforted her about it. It sucked. It sucked for her. Like, it's just weird. It's just weird when I look back on stuff like that because I'm like, I really did not give a fuck. Like, I was like, okay, throw rocks at me, bitch. I'll call the police. But like, she was really hurt. But also, but I wasn't friends with any of them. I was like, oh yeah, I broke up with you and you're gonna throw rocks at me and call me a whore. Who wins? I do. I fucking do, bitch. So, yeah, that was the last time that happened. And he went to jail. Josh did. In his adult life. He went to jail. Yeah, he went to jail. Did like that? Yeah, he went to fucking jail. He went to jail. My first kiss. He went to jail. He got into some bad stuff. Wasn't hanging out with the good kids. Went to jail. He's I think he's out now. He's for what? I don't know if I should say, but it involved guns and and attempted kidnapping. A little bit. Is that what the papers? I think it was a little different than it seemed. I don't think he was actually going to kidnap anyone, but yeah. Poor guy. Poor guy. Because I fucked him up. He was so heartbroken that I wouldn't tell him about my favorite flavors and talk about bands that he didn't even like. It hurts his feelings. You broke that man. We didn't have fucking anything in common. One that we did talk about stuff. I would tell him my interests, and then I remember playing songs for him, and he would always call them weird. Like we were not compatible. My first man went to prison. I'm a bad bitch. I'm a bad bitch. But yeah, so that was that's the story of my first boyfriend and his best friend Craig. I mean, if you think about it, I never actually said to Craig that I was breaking up with him, so it could be my longest running relationship. It's like over 10 years. It's just very long distance and we don't talk, so. Yeah. It's 8 o'clock. Yeah, it's late now. It's late now. I should eat dinner. Did you like my story time?